Top of the morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anand from Industry Samurai Awards. This is day one of the Industry Samurai Week, a 7 day affair that we do every year. We've been doing it for the last 6 years. This is the sixth year, and we are fortunate to have eminent speakers with us from reputed organizations, and each of these speakers is a thought leader in his own right. And the subject that we have today is also one of the most important topics that needs to be discussed because it is rarely discussed among B2B manufacturers. And it is that of marketing, branding, and sales, essentially reaching the outreach initiatives that every organization is supposed to take. Now, as you know very well, that B2C companies really prioritize sales and marketing at least as much. They give equal weightage to reaching out to consumers before sales and after sales because they are catering to end consumers. Uh, B2B B2B manufacturers and those from manufacturing industry who have tuned in would know very well that they do prioritize. It's not to say that they do not prioritize. It's just that their focus is on building long-term relationships because that is the nature of the business. What it does is that the resources, the quantum of resources that manufacturers have, most of that is oriented towards building relationships, which is a great thing, which is a great thing. But at the same time, in a fast globalizing world, particularly for Indian companies, the need is also to make known your credentials, your caliber, your capability to companies all around the world. In fact, and the last point on this introduction is that the genesis of this topic, why we are discussing this topic, comes from the Make in India initiative that is being seen as more than anything else a platform where Indian manufacturers are able to tell the world that Make in India is a prestigious thing. It's a good thing, and it's good to associate with manufacturing. So branding, evangelizing one's own brand is a good thing that B2B manufacturers should focus more on. I will quickly tell you who are the eminent speakers who are there with us. We have Mr. Srinivasan Balasubramanian, CEO, Chief Executive Officer, IAMPL, which stands for International Aerospace Manufacturing Private Limited. We have Mr. Kavishwar Kalambe, Site Director, Arkrama International India Private Limited, Arkroma, pardon me, Arkroma International India Private Limited. We have Mr. Muthusekhar PL, Chief Operating Officer, Hailstone Innovation Private Limited, and we have with us Dr. Yogesh Dadke, APAC IT Leader, Adient. My first question to you, gentlemen, is, and I request you to, before you answer this question, to briefly introduce yourself and your organizations, even though you don't need an introduction. We have people, we have viewers from across, from all walks of life. We have students, we have academics, we have manufacturers. So it'd be great to be introduced to you. My first question to you, gentlemen, is that do you think that B2B manufacturers do not emphasize, do not put as much weight on sales, marketing, branding as much as their B2C counterparts? And if that is so, if that is the case, what are the reasons that make that happen? What are the reasons behind it? We'll start with Sini. Sini, over to you.
Thank you. That's a very good question, Anand. Yeah, just to introduce myself, yeah, I'm Srinivasan. As Anand already told, I head the AAMPL business, which is a joint venture between Rolls-Royce and HAL. We are into the manufacturing of high precision machined and special processed parts for the advanced jet engines of Rolls-Royce and also the other engine manufacturers. We are based out of Bangalore. Coming to the question, Anand, it's uh, very right that B2B manufacturers do not focus on sales and marketing, branding, particularly as B2C people and B2C business guys do. There are a couple of important reasons for that. One is the focus is already there because as a B2B, we already have a target customer whom we know we are already kind of engaged with most of the times. But there are, I'll come to that. Why we need it is most of the times, remaining of the times, there's an issue. That is why we also need sales and marketing from a B2B, from the manufacturing companies also. The second issue why we don't uh, normally the B2B guys don't focus too much on the branding or the sales and marketing and branding. Again, the bandwidth required, it is considered as kind of, once you get connected, there is no need to flourish the branding through advertising or normally the branding, the moment people think, it comes like comes to mind, like, you'll have to do a lot of advertising. That is the reason people think, the B2B companies do not need an extensive sales and marketing. But today the technology world has changed the thinking a lot. I can tell you from myself. I mean, with whatever we have done, I can share with you. I want to. It's not that I'm just going to give a general talk with what is that we have done in the space. I want to just share with you. Like in the last 1 year, we could attract through the technology like the LinkedIn or the kind of tweeters. We have attracted close to 13,000 connections to us from the business side, also from the non-business side, and most of the guys are relevant to our business, like our potential customers, existing customers. So those are all the people who understand that. And how did we do that? I mean, we use extensively on the internet about what we are doing, our product segmentation. People, otherwise, people keep asking me, "Are you automotive? Are you supplying to automotive components?" Because always there's a confusion. The moment people talk about Rolls Royce, people get confused. You are a Rolls Royce car guys. Just to be honest with you guys, like, we are not from Rolls-Royce cars. We are from Rolls-Royce aerospace engines. That is the first communication we'll have to give to the audience or the people, our targeted customers. We are, are the potential guys. Like, we are from aerospace engines and we manufacture aerospace engine parts. Again, the next question always asked to me is, can you still manufacture automotive parts? We'll have to clarify the segmentation to people, saying that, no, we are 100% aerospace component manufacturing company. Then they again ask us, like, are you into structural? Are you into engine? Then you have to go very specific and tell them, boss, we are an engine component manufacturing company. So I'll stop at this. But when I told you all these things, this communication is very much essential to communicate and make our target potential customers understand what we are doing. First, the communication starts with like whom we are and what we are doing, and what we are going to do for you and how we are going to solve your problems. So that is where the communication starts, and that is where there are plenty of tools available, and we will talk about that in the coming next 1 hour or so. And with that, I'll stop and hand it over to Anand. I mean, I hope I answered your question.
Oh, that was brilliant, Srini. That was brilliant. You shared such a phenomenal example of how marketing and why marketing is important. That Rolls Royce is arguably, or well, inarguably, one of the most well-known brands in the world. And even when I started to interact with your organizations, you need to be honest, I thought that you manufacture Rolls Royce cars or components for that. Then I had to look it up, and thankfully I did not mention that to you. I saved a lot of embarrassment for myself. Then I came to know that Rolls Royce is actually right owned by BMW, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And the Rolls Royce that we deal with, that you are allied with, focuses on aircraft engines. So that's an awesome example, Chini, of the power of marketing or the lack thereof on the branding part, for B2B manufacturers. I'll ask this question to Mr. Muthusekar about, do you think that B2B manufacturers focus lesser compared to their counterparts in B2C, and should they do more? What are the reasons they focus lesser? Mr. Muthusekar.
Thank you, Anand. First of all, congratulating Dynamic India Manufacturing Magazine for the Samurai Awards, industry awards. Industry needs such kind of awards and motivation. It helps the industry to grow as well as the Make in India. Thank you. And straight answer to Anand's question and the way Srini started the discussions. Yes, the B2B is under the imagination that the company or the wholesaler is enough to be in touch. That's not right. Coming back again with the Sini's point, people even today look at when they fly an aircraft, they see what kind of engines are there in the aircraft. To that extent, people are knowledgeable, people are informative, and when it comes to buying a car, they even go to the extent of asking what tires are being used, whether this X tire is suitable for my application. So what I'm trying to say that yes, B2B should not stop with the relationship marketing with the wholesaler or the OEM supply company, but it has to extend beyond. In simple, in Hindi we say that jo dikhta hai bikta hai. So you need to promote yourself. Probably we may not even know that some customers are going out, or some customers are demanding for a different parts which is not produced by our company. Very simple reason. And I'm working for two companies right now. One is Headstone Innovations. We are into construction equipment manufacturing. We have a footprint in India and global, basically for aggregate industry, iron ore industry, coal mine, a lot of areas, as well as I also wear another hat. I am the director on board for Revati Equipment Limited, again into the coal and mineral exploration areas. So in both the companies, I see that the customer is well advanced with informations and ask for what sub-supply components or what sub-products, what motor you are using, what gearbox you are using. So they go to the extent, and somebody says, I don't want this X brand, I want this Y brand. So all this kind of awareness is there. And second, what is branding? Branding is nothing but name recall. So if somebody is, remembering the name and, recalling that name and asking for it, that is, the determining factor for the B2B companies to take into account that, yes, we need to improve our branding, we need to improve our advertisement marketing, and those it is not only related to industries or products. Today it has gone to governments needs to do branding, pilgrimage centers, religion centers, the politicians, everybody need to do the branding to keep themselves in a well informed market. So again, coming to your answer straight, yes, the B2B needs to improve its marketing and branding exercise, not just restricted to the OEM supplies. It has to reach to the bigger market. Thank you, Anand.
Thanks so much. That was a great insight, Mr. Muthusekar. Now I turn to Yogesh. Yogesh, do please also, as Mr. Muthusekar did, and my apologies, I didn't ask Mr. Muthusekar to introduce his company as well, which he did kindly. So Yogesh, please tell us more about yourself, your company, and the picture that is there in your background, which is so enticing. Yogesh.
Sure. I mean, first thing first, thank you for invite. It's been a pleasure appearing along with you and in this forum consecutively last couple of years, and it feels nice to talk to the industry leaders, making and understanding their views on those specific topics which are very relevant to the current conditions. I'm Yogesh Dadke. I'm in IT innovations and smart factory solutions deployment. Of course, being in manufacturing, a person need to, typically in automotive manufacturing, a person need to wear multiple hats at a time and support new business adventures, onboarding new customers, even onboarding new, technology centers and connecting them to the OEMs and etc. Of course, in these kind of forums, whatever views that we express are completely personal and not from the organizational views. So, in case I give an example of a particular situation, it's relevant to that particular, name only. Not let's not cascade it to multiple things. Coming back to the, having a marketing view on, even the B2B businesses are more of like a secure business. The people consider them as, okay, I have a pipeline, I have some vision, and I have some revenue portfolio already in my kitty. Why do I need to invest in marketing? Why do I need to invest in other things? But there are few parameters like the brand visibility that gives us not only recognitions but also the retention of the existing customers. That's a primary to secure, like our fixed deposits, secure what you have. But along with that, the lead generations, creating the pipeline for, so that my product line is not just till 2025 but till 2030, not 2030 but 2000 till 2035, etc. And along with that, we get a competitive advantage. If I'm making a process today with benchmarking timestamp of 20 seconds, with innovations, can I make the same process in timestamp of 10 seconds, so that my productivity goes 2x and I can help achieve the business to two-folds or three-folds in the upcoming scenarios. And last but not the least is about the ROIs, because everybody talks about business, where the marketing can help bring your ROIs in ROI measurements and making sure the returns on your investment are measured statistically and not just virtually. With that, I'll take a pause here. And of course, we do have 50-55 minutes to speak about it in much more details.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Yogesh. That fixed deposit example hit right home, and we felt the impact of the example that you shared with us. Absolutely, for B2B, and I also work with a B2B organization. Although we manufacture magazines and hopefully not information. No media company should manufacture information at all. Just to be clear, only manufacturing company should manufacture. But we face these things also, that we are intently focused, we are laser focused on building relationships, and then forget that we have to do outreach activities as well. So that absolutely was a great example. And Yogesh, that place is that looks very enticing. Are you staying at this place right now? Is that where you're speaking? Tell us more
No,
about it.
that's Hotel Imperial. It is about 110-year-old hotel from Vietnam, where I recently visited and we had our conference there. So I kind of liked it because it's the center of town at Ho Chi Minh City, and it was very beautiful. So I just thought to share with the audience. Of course, I'm not promoting tourism to Vietnam, but if anybody want to take an influence and want to go there, please feel free.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. So please bring up this topic, of how Vietnam has suddenly come up in the mainstream in the last 1 or 2 years, and what part of that could be attributed to branding and marketing, if that is something you would like to share with us in terms of manufacturing industry.
Sure, sure. I mean, I'll take a couple of minutes on it. One, the quick manufacturing and setup and shipping. These are the three elements which currently I think Vietnam is focused on. Of course, they do have the essential investments, not only from West, but also from the Central Asia Pacific countries. Currently, if we talk about the sports shoes like Nike, Puma, and kind of, they have a very large setup in Vietnam. Vietnam is a very heavy on textile industry also. I'm very sure Ravi will agree on it, even though I'm sure he will have the thought process on getting it over there. And moreover to that, quick setups, quick shipping, and having the GTS equipment over there, manufacturing equipments over there. Especially in automotive component, what I have seen is the forging companies are becoming a heavy suppliers from there, maybe because of the environmental norms, which are a little relaxed at the moment compared to other countries, from the pollution board perspective, and also the talent that we have over there, readily available. People are ready to work and support Narayan Murthy's initiatives of 70 hours per week. And we all do that. It's not like one particular, but yes, these are the countries where workforce is available and ready to put their blood and sweat in the while making a particular a manufacturing setup and quickly ship it to the world.
Wow. See, that is the power of marketing and media outreach, Yogesh, that Mr. Murthy has done so many great things in his life. But one thing that we remember prominently now is his 70 hours a week statement. Right. So that's the power of things that stay with you, things that are different from the norm. Great. That's
I
a great.
personally support it. I mean, if you ask me,
Okay.
people, I mean, probably my family has seen me doing that. I usually work like 18 to 20 hours a day, even today. But and it can be anything. It can be painting, a charcoal painting. It can be decorating my hall. It can be anything. But I tend to work in that fashion so that I remain productive and do something constructive, whether it's for society, whether it's for organization, whether it's for personal.
That's a great point, Yogesh. In fact, I've made a note of it to have a whole panel discussion, and I'm saying this in all seriousness, is that we need to have a whole thing in Bangalore as well. I hope you guys are there for the event. So we're going to have a discussion around this 70-hour work thing. It's a great point, Yogesh. Kavishwar, sorry, this is a great topic, and there's so many things to discuss, and we are so keen to know your views on the topic on why B2B companies need to focus more on marketing. But if you could start with your introduction of your organization, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Anand. I think, and first of all, it's a great, topic you bring it on, because I still say it's underdog. So, and a great discussion I was hearing. It was great to hear. So, myself, Kavishwar, I am heading, the global site of Artroma. We are into the manufacturing of specialty chemicals and dyes, which end uses textile market, and we market sustainable solutions. So where, if mills use our product, they can save their 50% of energy and water. So that's how we are promoting the sustainability. And we recognize this, when we say about the branding. However, we have our brand products like Avitera and well known, but when last year when we have gone for typically contemplation amongst all steps, let's say how we can penetrate for to the market. So it's that branding is still underdog. And then we did lot of surveys. So you will amazed to see the B2B company spends roughly around 5% in their branding, or you can say typically sales and marketing, we say. And B2C spends around 10% of it. So it's exactly double, than it. Yeah. So and many times we find this as a sentimental part is more than a technical part to it. Like you all must be trading, so sometimes we all fail to under, technically strong, still it's not working. Yeah. So it's similarly like that. So it's all sentiment, how you touch to the people. So we we try to understand our products in a very what you can say deep way, where we did a lot of deep dive, and we understood that we have a sustainable product, and market need a sustainability where there is a resource depletion, use of water. When we are into the water intensive industry, energy intensive industry, how we can be into the circular economy. So we have made a path, and then we have started branding. Like as I told, our patented product like Avitara save 50% of the energy and cost. That means our life cycle of product can be doubled. So similar way we have reached to the customers, and by the way, customers are the best solutions for us for the branding. They tell us many more, and so we have visited our topmost vendor. Like you may be hearing Wellspoon, Trident. They are all into the all kind of business. Lights in the Wimbledon, you see the towel. That towel chemicals used by us, manufactured by Wellspoon. So that type of B2C use they have. We are into the B2B. So we understand and we have marketed in a that way. So now you can see when you go to the website, you will find all branding is there. And that is not only, as someone said, as I think Srini has told at the start, at the end it's numbers. So this has helped us in a generating the leads and converting into the revenue. As a result, our bottom line is intact. And here I just wanted to share one big story which was out of box. However, it's a B2C, but many of you aware of, Maruti Suzuki, everybody aware, correct? Now it's a Suzuki, no more Maruti, but we Indian will still call as a Maruti Suzuki. And you know the Nexa, you know, it's a great story when I try to understand it, how they penetrate further into the market, not only the component, they, by the way, they are also into the some part into the B2B, rest part into the B2C. And when they realize how they can promote their ultra modern product, like they have started with Baleno, if you all are remember, then XL6 and a lot of branded, lot of models they have now. So they say, okay, we'll go with the static one where people will sell a Desire, yeah, Swift, and we'll go with the next where we'll do the brand. And that has changed the market. Now you see the revenue last 5 years, if you see when they have launched Nexa, and now it's amazing. So like that, this out of box solution can really support to it. And as we go along, we'll further talk on the further case studies which I learned over the period of time. Thanks, Anandya.
Great, brilliant examples, Kavishwar. One that I found fascinating was that B2C manufacturers spend almost double on marketing compared to their B2B counterparts. So that's a great figure. The other thing was is of course about the Nexa brand that you shared, and I'm personally a customer of it, and I can completely vouch for at least their branding, the branding enthusiasm, even if not so much for the services that follow. But that's a personal experience. No, I'm just kidding. They're great all around. They're great, absolutely. I take my words back. It was just a joke. But the second question, the one that is to follow, is not a joke. It's very important about the sales and marketing initiative, and that is something that Kavishwar just mentioned. Is that B2B companies need to have their name, the brand recall, and Mr. Muthusekar also mentioned this. There's end of the day, it's about the name recall. Name recall. Now, B2C companies do that by, let's say, sponsoring Cricket World Cup. You can see the names of B2C companies like Samsung and all these plastered, and then pestering all the viewers who want to see the cricket match with advertisements. But B2B companies obviously do not have that plan. They do not aim for it. And but at the same time, they need to reach their customers. Now, what are the channels? What is the most? Now, the next question is this: that what are the most effective ways of reaching your, not only your present customer, the potential customer on whom your entire most of the focus is on, but the potential customers also. What are the best ways of reaching them, the potential customers? What are the examples that you can share from your experience? And the question that follows, which I'll ask after this, are the challenges. But this time, can you tell us the outreach initiatives for your present and potential customers? Sini, over to you.
Srini, you have to unmute first.
Sorry. That's a very, very, very nice question, Anand. Yeah, there are many ways we reach out when we do it. It's very important to let your customer, there are two things to keep in mind. So you are there to solve your customers' problems, that you need to make sure that they understand that first, instead of only thinking that we are there for business with them. So that's a fundamental understanding which we need to create with the customers, which normally companies like us, we do that. But also I just keep it in mind, there are many companies, new companies who miss that point when they approach the customers, but people still approach us like that. So that's the most important point. We are here to solve somebody's problems. So we need to be very, very explicit in that. So when we try to do that, so we just filter and segment. I mean, we select the segment, we filter our potential customers. And what we do is there are many ways we can do that. Sometimes, we talk to the customers and then tell them we ask for a road show appointment within the customer's premises. Our target within the customer, you need to understand who are the guys within the customer's premises who are going to be your target people whom you are going to work with for future. the technology guys, I mean the procurement guys, or they are your service guys. So we need to understand and then target them and make your presence to them felt, and then sell your, when you do that, make it very clear that what problems you are solving better than your competition there. It can be in terms of products. Sometimes after the products come in, it's the same for us and our competitors. We provide the products. So what else is the differentiator? You are better in doing that. Either it is because of the lead time you have taken to develop that product is short, or the service after the service what you offer after the product is sold, is that a much better one, or are you connecting everything through a digital platform where you are looking at trending technology to serve customers faster, or you are you giving a technology direction? Are you talking about a futuristic stuff? It's just not about supplying today. You are talking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You are part of an inclusive, sustainable. You are also part of the today the talk of the R is like sustainable solutions. Now, how are we part of it, and how we are supporting you? How you are going to support your customers to achieve that? These are all very, very important. So the roadshow is one of the things which we try to engage. Second thing, again, we kind of conduct what we feel proud about. I mean, the technology or whatever it is, whatever rhythm we have once we set up. If you are whatever you are proud of it, and then whatever is required by your customers, we are kind of arrange for a conclave and then get our target customers and also include somebody else stakeholders into that and arrange that in a center. For example, during a supplier conference, what we did is, like, during a supplier conference with one of our customers, we took a stall from them, some space from them, and showcased what we are doing during that supplier conference, because we know that it is a potential opportunity for us to attract various other guys there, whoever is going to come there. Similar things, we can always use the other technology media now through your internet websites, or through the LinkedIn postings, or through the Yammer or the kind of Twitter, X, whatever it is, use them to the best advantage. But most important thing in a B2B, nothing like relationship. So the preferred way, personally from my side, is to go reach out to the customer and engage with your target function there, and then conduct a roadshow, which is much, much, much better in today's context.
That's a great thing that you mentioned the roadshow part. Sorry, you were about to say something else?
No, go ahead, Anand.
Okay, thanks. So great. So you mentioned these ways and means to reach the present customer as well as the potential customer. Now, Sini, I'll ask a related question, and this question is for the speakers as well. That now we have the new media, for the last two decades, and obviously, and I just looked it up actually as to what major manufacturing companies, B2B, are using social media. So the list was very limited to the names like GE and Dow and uh, sorry and ArcelorMittal's name cropped up. So the list is not very long of companies, manufacturing companies, that are using social media. So given that constraint that we have to use, by we I mean the B2B manufacturers have to use the traditional media, the legacy media, to its utmost capacity, and tools like video, for example. So what are the tools that you use from the traditional media as well as the new media? What do you prefer?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, from a media point, once we engage with the customer, there are two ways of again looking at it. Once you are successful in communicating something already to the customer, your confidence level is high, but you want that to reach many more customers like that. Then you use the UDR, because you cannot do the same thing, the roadshow with every other customer, like what I told you, You cannot do that with every targeted customer. So what we do at that time is we pick up the next. We know that fairly it is successful and well received. If not, then we fine tune it and then use the media now. Kind of use the LinkedIn or the Twitter or the Facebook kind of stuff, the digital media, to kind of communicate what we are doing, what we can do better than our competition, kind of, kind of telling that, kind of very confidently telling them what our USP is and why we are successful and how the customers are successful with us. So we use the kind of the digital media, which is very useful nowadays. And the next one is using the technology. Again, we reach customers one-on-one communication also. Selected communication with selected communication mailers or pamphlets or sharing success stories with the selected customers through the kind of emails or through different exercises we do through the digital media content. We also adapt that.
Thanks so much, Srini. Thanks so much. Mr. Madhusekar, your views on this?
Yeah, Anand, your question on which media, which tool we need to use. I would like to say that before even getting into the which media and which tool, I think the right strategy has to be in place. Like Kavi mentioned about the Nexa story, Maruti Suzuki story. I will tell about the Kia story. The Kia is not a premium brand anywhere in the world, including the place where they initiated in Korea. But you look at in India, they positioned the product in a premium segment, number one. So that means product positioning is important. Number two is they had a marketing strategy very clear. Every year they will launch one new car. If you look at, Kia is around 5-6 years in India, but in 5-6 years, they have about 5-6 models available. So that means the strategy needs to be in place. Then, where, you need to reach and what kind of positioning you need to do, even if it is a cheap car or even if it is a low cost car, but that, how you are going to market it. Like we all know, the Tata Nano's failure, even Mr. Ratan Tata himself, accepted that, one of the marketing tool they used as a cheap car. So nobody wants to associate with a cheap name. They are ready to buy a bike which is more costlier than the nano car, but they don't want to buy a nano car. So that was a kind of a story which we have seen and which has been admitted by Mr. Ratan Tata himself. So coming back, what we need is that before even we decide what tool or what media, I think we need to have a right strategy in terms of entry, in terms of exit, in terms of, like Qualis. They had an exit strategy. And after the Qualis, you look at, again, why I am taking automotive is, that's little more easier and, people are more familiar. That's the reason I'm talking of Toyota Qualis. And when Innova was launched, they had a clear exit strategy for the Qualis. And Innova became the most successful product, irrespective of even increasing the price, increasing the value additions, etc. So coming back to the B2B and the more relationship business, what we are doing, relationship business is built on trust. So first is what we need to do is, we need to get into the trust of the end customer. It could be, who could be an influencer, who could be an associate, who could be a consultant. So the trust building is more important. So if the marketing activities and whatever kind of media, Sini mentioned about roadshows. I have done several roadshows in my previous company, including my present company I have done. And roadshows are definitely successful basically for industrial products. There are other medias also, but more than that, you need to be clear where you want to position your product, and then the tool comes next. Thank you.
Well, that's a great example, a very inspiring example, informative example of how the cars and different types of cars, for example, uh, what are the medium that they should choose in order to inspire trust in the customer, whether it is B2C or B2B. That's a brilliant example of that. I love that. Now, a related thing, Mr. Madhusekar, that I want to ask you and other speakers, as I did with Sini, is that once you decide the strategy, say your strategy is going to be based on trust, then how do you choose your marketing platforms as well as the tools, whether you're going to choose video or whether you're going to choose content and not so much video? Over to you.
Yeah. See, again, there are ways of doing direct marketing and indirect marketing. So direct marketing is you are going to attack to the related buyer, related influencer, and the customer. And the indirect marketing is you're going to build your brand, you're going to build your trust, you're going to build your name, and the name recall is going to happen. The awareness is going to create. The once the awareness create, and we actually don't know who, again I'm coming to the car story, we don't know who is the influencer. Like papa might decide that I want to buy x car, but the children will say that I this car is a right car for our family. So the influencer here is the children, and they have certain things in their mind which like if you look at the films also, the most of the successful heroes, most of the successful films are basically from where the children are liking, whether it is Rajinikanth or whether it is Hrithik Roshan, or why I'm taking these examples very clearly is the children are the deciding that we need to go for which movie. So that's where we need to take a media. Probably the media is the TV media. That's where the influencer has more. It could be even magazines. It could be even the other. Of course, there are professional like LinkedIn and other social medias are there. That's only for a general marketing and only bringing awareness or keeping your brand alive. But if you want to touch the influencer, then you need to go to other medias like TV and the mobile and those kind of places.
Thanks so much, Mr. Madhusekar. Yogesh, Yogesh, your views?
Yeah, sure. I mean, most of the points like strategy has been covered already. A typical roadshow kind of thought process has been covered. Um, uh, Relationship building thought process has been covered by previous panelists. Of course, those are very vital. But couple of concepts which I learned during my MBA in Liverpool University. I'll tell you those. And we used to have a professor, Joseph, and he was a excellent marketing and sales guy. Typically, invested his life in sales and marketing. He used to talk about only two things. One is called ABM. ABM is account-based marketing, or he used to call it as a Australian methodology also. Okay. Now, why? Because in ABM, you keep one of your personnel you on your payroll, but at the client side, and make sure whatever is first right of refusal kind of thought process gets penetrated into the accounts, so that if you have a product to manufacture for someone, all the requirements for that particular products and associated around areas are coming to you only for the inquiries and not going anywhere else in the competition. Of course, the quality parameter checks. Of course, you need to make sure the cost parameters are up to the mark. But if you place your personnel and focused approach on an ABM, growth of your own organization is parallel to the growth of a OEM. Okay, that is a parent company. Second portion of it, or second option which he used to talk about, is called goal mapping or strategic partnerships. For example, if there is a requirement of a product which you can design and take a complete goal alignment with that. For example, Apple want to build an iPhone 15. For that, there is a glue which is required. That glue demand is in such a way that it should stick, but it should also easily remove. You can design that product, you can manufacture that product, you can supply that product. But what is the life of that product from maybe 2025 to 2028? That's it. But if you can map that goal, that for upcoming products, also you can supply and do that mapping of your product strategy, that with a strategic partnership kind of scenarios. And with the same, we can see the Apple production has been started in Gurgaon, in India, supporting in the Make in India initiatives. These two concepts are very, very vital. Rest all, you, whether it's sustainability goals, whether it's employee advocacy, or whether it's continuous monitoring and adaptability, these will follow in those processes. Thanks.
Excellent, Yogesh. So, can you share with us your thoughts on marketing, the choice of marketing tools as well, whether they should be digital, whether they should be traditional tools like email? That is one. And the second thing is obviously the use of social media. Do you recommend the use of social? Because it's kind of blowing up in India as well. And there are brands that are coming up that are using social.
See, this concept of social selling is not new. Today we are talking about using a digital medium for social selling. Rather, social selling is used to be right from ancient days, when in the weaponry they used to call it like an exhibition, or taking from one king to another king, whether it's guns or whether it's swords or whether it's their small daggers. They used to take from one king to another king. The makers used to take it. Today we call it as like a social selling, whether it's from social marketing tools, or whether it's making sure that the exhibitions are arranged associated with that. Whether the digital platform, a particular platform is used. I personally, being from IT, would definitely want to see the investments into the websites, investments into the the specific targeted social selling. For example, when I know everybody's talking about automotive industry example, when I know there is a upcoming strategy of SUVs in particular OEM, and if they are targeting it, what's the basic most important component? There are two. One is safety, another is comfort. If I focus on these two elements, specifically design a product, and then take those to those OEMs, it becomes a targeted social selling. And tools can be anything, mouth to mouth publicity, paper based, email based. Tools are anything. Most important thing is matching the vision.
Thanks so much, Yogesh. So, Yogesh, one thing that intrigues me, and this is a thought for other speakers as well, and I'm going to ask this question, is that, see, in the last couple of years, the 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 tool of the marketing tool of video has become really huge. I mean, Meta is focusing on it. YouTube, all the major media companies are focusing on video, and manufacturers around the world, and including Rolls Royce, also, Sini, that they are majorly into showing what they do at their factories and interviewing the people globally. But in India, I see that very few B2B manufacturers, uh, trust video for whatever reason. Maybe they feel that the quality will not be compatible, will not be comparable with their international counterparts. So the medium of video is being very rarely used in India. Do you feel that is something that we need to pay heed to, and why are we not using more of video?
Let me start with that. As you have asked it, the strategy for a digital twin is always there at the back of mind for every organization. Okay, it's either to target it from the security perspective, or whether it's targeting from a marketing perspective. But what you said is absolutely right. When it comes to showing a product or a prototype of a product, better show it how it will work, how it is inside out in a 3D, 5D kind of modeling, and then go through the quality parameter check, show the anecdotes which are used, show the safety features which are embedded in it, and then making sure that product is available for the display. When it comes to the innovations, this is absolutely used at the moment. At least what I see, from the recent new generation automotive industries, or whether it's the pipeline industry, they are pretty much using it. And I'll tell you one great case study which I recently came across. You know, Mumbai as a city is all based on large pipe or the gutter system, which is
Correct.
basic important system. You know, that topic is not known, but there is one company, a small company, which came up with a blueprint of the tunnels which are below Mumbai. For that, they used almost 72 odd drones inside the tunnel to get their landscapes. This all happened after the 2611 floods, which happened in Mumbai. And to mitigate that situation, what can be done and what are solutions can be implemented? And as a result of that, you'll see some the flyovers are coming up with those designs which are based on that particular 3D models, which are submitted by those private organizations to the government. And this involves, you know, the people safety, this involves life, and very few organizations are actually focusing on it where it's required right now.
That's an excellent example, Yogesh, and that's an excellent response to my question as well. That for B2B manufacturing, and that's what I meant when I asked, and thank you for bringing it up, that there is no medium better than a visual medium, be it a video or an image, to bring the features of your product to the customer, because that stays with you the longest when you have become a part of it. And globally, technology is evolving. They're going into AR and VR, and as you mentioned, 3D. So it's evolving. The feel factor, the touch and feel factor that the customer needs to experience in order to buy is something that the visual medium can provide. And Kavi, uh, one is that the right strategy, one, like Mr. Mithun Sekhar said, that first you decide the strategy, then you go about implementing it. What is your take on this whole process and the social media tools as well? Kavi, over to you.
Yeah, great. I think it's a great year, Yogesh, Srini, all you people has really put it into the correct way. But what I see on the top of it, I always say it's ecosystem. Yeah, what ecosystem you need to design to sell your product in a very layman language. At the end of the day, the ecosystem will be different for the different products, but at the same time, it has to be in compliance with the what typically I say, the nature. Correct. So you may see there are wonderful products or wonderful technology already in place, but unable to penetrate to the market. It's only due to the ecosystem. So if we can design in a such a way that let's say we have a strategy, maybe we have best people, we have a best product, then we go to the social media, we have videos and that everything we do. But we, in this all process, we also see how where we wanted to make an impact, because a product can't make an impact in the all the areas. But if we can have simple steps where we say, okay, this is my ecosystem and I will play around it only to start with. That will be my phase 1, my phase 2 will be different, and phase 3. So if we can segregate that, it will be good. The best example I see, when in all the products, I was on industrial advisor board for 2 years for Power City, where I learn a lot in terms of the future customers. So
Sorry,
I found best
which
way.
place? We couldn't hear. Which city
Yeah,
you said? Sorry,
this is a
what is the
Parul
name?
University is at Baroda. It's the biggest
Parul
university.
University.
Yeah, Parul
Oh,
University.
at Baroda. Okay,
So
okay. Thank you.
there we typically call that time as a future customers, because let's say we have B Pharma, engineering, medicals, BSc, MBAs, all kind of branches. Yeah, and there we have gone with all the products. So we say this, let's say maybe 2 lakhs, the students working there. Maybe after 5 years or 10 years, they may be 50% maybe our potential customers. Yeah, when we take our typical kind of example. So, and there I observed some of the player was already there, like one of Mahindra engine. Mahindra has placed their engine over there to educate. Actually, idea was to make them industry relevant, but the behind strategy was how I can brand myself there, because once they pass out, they are ready to use to me. So they have given what the best engines they are, and how they can configure it, how they can customize it, how it can be user friendly, and what best result they can give it to the people. So this is one of example. So I see one is the ecosystem, second is the industrial academia, relationship that can support further the last question which I asked related to the social media. I tell you nowadays, whether we like it not, our buying experience is based on our social media platform. Correct? You surf anything, it pop-ups. So they already are using AI. Yogesh is there from the IT. He may be guide us. We have now everything is already in place. AI nowadays we are talking it, but it's there maybe from 2000, but only it has not been the commercialized. So some specific few were using it to market in that way. So now we understand it. So the presence on the social media is very much important. And like you say, video or underdog here, yes, you are right, because many there is a fear. It's not only the quality, Anand, but sometimes they say, whether if I say whether my IP will be there, so that fear sometimes is also in the back of the mind, because somewhere it's not a rocket science, it is just minor technology. There we say, okay, we will not go with that. But I see there are now the experts are there in this industry, like videos. It has reached to the all different stage. That's what I say when I try to say, I thought it could be the traditional way, but you have ultra model. You say you want one, they have a 10 examples. You want another one, they have a 10 example. So I see if we can go by this way, visual experience, it is good. There is a very famous Google ad is there, when you go to the how you can touch to the people. However, Google don't need to brand it, but they have branded in a such a way that they everybody know it's a Google. So if you can say the oldest ad of Google, it's based on the India Pakistan switch story. Yeah, so where the switch shop get closed, you can just search on, you will find it. So I see if we can give that feel and touch to on the social media, with some experience with the future generations, where they already know you before they pass out. Or because when students go, they not only touch to their fellow colleagues, but also to the home, also their parent may be working like us, we where we may not be knowing to the other, because we know that we are right now we are here, but we have our own way to work to do. So we may not aware of that stuff, but where they can influence a lot. So at the start we talk about the influencer. So I see the future generation is the most influencer one with the use of digital media. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Wow, that's an excellent response, Kavi. The thing that you brought up about the IP, that manufacturers have this concern, and rightly so, that you cannot have people look under the hood when it's still a work in progress, and B2B products are at times work in progress, especially a tour of the factory, for example. You're very cautious, careful, and rightly, justifiably so. So that's I wouldn't say it's a stumbling block, but it's something to keep in mind at the time of marketing. And my next question does pertain to the challenges that you feel, but I would ask you gentlemen to club it with one answer that I'm looking for, which is very specific to what we just discussed. Would be your top three ways of marketing. Just enumerate in the order of importance. But once you've decided your strategy, how would you? What are the ways? What are the let's say approaches or methods? Top three methods you would choose for marketing. Let's say first is, for example, email communication, whether it is collective or personalized, or one-on-one communication with the customer. So what are the top three ways of reaching the customers according to you? And club it with the answer that what are the challenges that you face in while marketing and branding and sales. So Kavi, your top three, you've spoken about the other things. So your top three, and then please speak about the challenges as well. Then I'll go to the other speakers.
Correct. Yeah, thanks Anand. So I see that I as I told for every product I have an ecosystem. So that's my first way to go. Second, it's the launching of the product is the most important factor over there. So like what when we want to launch our sustainable solution, I will not call below the principal secretary of Ministry of Environment, who is highly concerned about it. And when because I know he's also my customer. So I know my footprint very well, where I will call and it gives me the national, coverage. That national coverage through social media, I will take for the international market. That is the one. Second, the someone like you people, like dynamic manufacturing, meshmix media, you know, you people can support in a very large way, especially for B2B industry, not for B2C. It's already there. There are many special players, but for B2B, it's very typical. I can give you one of example of, right. There is an IT organization called GESIA, GESIA. I was one of panelists there during Vadodara session, and we were looking for digital twin technology partner with us, and we were talking about some Bangalore, some US, some some Europe one, and there we find out the someone sitting at Ahmedabad having the, I can say like that technology is available at a 20%, which my cost was 100%. And they did it for, you must be aware, that Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra at Ahmedabad is very famous. However, it's from other side, but at Ahmedabad, it's at very well.
I
There
didn't
they
know that.
utilize this solution at free of
Interesting.
cost. That
Okay, we
free
didn't
of
know that.
cost,
Yeah,
yeah,
please continue.
yeah, at free of cost. And then we say, okay, then I talked about how it costs. He said nothing, this is my way of doing it, yeah. And anyway, for all digital twin, you have a standard process, yeah. People may have their own platforms, own softwares, but it's a standard process to follow. How because your end goal is same, whether you take any processes over there. So such forums, I tell you, such forums, because they were also not thought that they will get a revenue from nearby. They're all working with the US clients or they're at the Europe clients, yeah. But they know, I told them that why chemical industries want this, this is what the low cost solution we want to start with. We may not go for industry 4.0, but we are happy with industry 3.0 with some solution so that it can be scalable further. So I say this is the second one. And last one is when we talk about the first ecosystem, second about the platforms, and third about the visible outreach with product lifecycle management to it. Yeah. So yes, someone said like a exit strategy also has to be there when you put it. So you have ecosystem, you have launch, you have gone for the digital, we have gone for the specific partners like you, and the PLM. So this all will give you the, I see, the best way to it for any type of product. There is one other great example of HP also there. HP has started doing well now with a B2B. They were not there into it. Many people don't know it. They were into the B2C mostly, but they wanted to grow into the Asia market. They have penetrated like anything. As a result, if when you go to the social media, you will find HP's branding started. You go to the LinkedIn, you will say, okay, HP is there now, correct? And then there, however, they have a good name, but it has supported them in the rebranding for the B2B sales. Like they may do the component, they also do the, like industry like me where need a 1,000 laptops a year, yeah. So they can directly penetrate. So they have made it very easy to approach it, which was not there earlier. So that's my take on Anand. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Kavi. Srini, your top three marketing measures or methods in the order of importance, and the challenges you face while implementing them.
Yeah, it's a very good question. My first one, yeah, always I prefer in a B2B area. Always I love to establish the connect with the people. So one-on-one meetings at the top level, making our intentions, the strategic fit. What I call the strategic fit, because we are in a kind of a specific product segment. So I love to have a strategic fit with my audience first, whether what we are talking and what they want or what their future is, there a alignment. So I prefer one-on-one meetings for that. Next one is with again the influencers within those organizations, the tech teams, the technology teams. Normally I try to conduct technology forums or the quality forums in a hotel, where we can bring in the like-minded influencers to a common stage, where we can then talk about, bring them to a common stage and then provide them the video of what we are talking, provide them, and then also gather. This is also another way of gathering information from the people who are there. Because if it's that's most important thing. First, once you establish a strategic connect, then bring the like-minded people together in a forum. There are two, three different forums. Like it's just not one area. We may also need a quality forum. We may need a kind of a service forum, and then we need a technology forum, futuristic thinking. Do that. It's not only you are going to communicate, because communication is always two-way in a branding also. Most important thing is just not like, yeah, I have communicated, the branding is going to happen. No, before that, you need to understand, take some feedback, and that will help us to fine tune and then improve further. That is my second priority. Once we are clear with number one and number two, the third thing is, I'll go with the media, like what I told you, like the LinkedIn's or the Facebooks or the Twitters. And then we are very sure, like, we already picked up you can avoid the trolls at least to certain decent extent, because you already had some one-on-one meetings, you had the forums, you had picked up the ideas. That is where I go for the third one. But the challenge here, when you reach the audience, mass audience with the third one, there are always people who come and say, hey, we want to see that how you are doing this. How can we show that? That is where now we are in the preliminary stages of using the AR VR technology, actually, just to tell you. The augmented reality, virtual reality technology, where we are trying to provide the tour of a factory, to all our, the digital audience. How can we, digital exhibition using this AR VR technology for our other partners? So this is where we create the sequence it like this, with the challenges whatever we have. But there is always, today's technology, well, there's always a solution available for us. But to answer to your question, that's the sequence in which I will go. But there are challenges, like, people trying to look at us like, we want to see this, how you are doing it. So whatever we can share with them, we again build a technology using a AR VR platform and then showcase it to them. That's the way
Thanks,
we do.
Srini, for a very, very insightful response. So essentially, what I understood, and I was listening very intently, is that you prefer to interact in person. You want a more personalized experience to begin with, and once you establish that dynamic, then you want your customers present and potential to experience what it is that you do by taking them on factory tours or giving them a demonstration of your product. Is that is right? Correct? That is the sequence that you. Oh, that's great. I mean, I think that's a very, very good approach. Mr. Muthusekar, what would you say about this? What would be your top three marketing methods, and what are the challenges that you usually face?
Anand, I will answer your question of challenges first, because that's what is going to determine what the strategy or what marketing tools you need to do. The research shows that 40% of the salespeople, particularly in the B2B sales process, the biggest problem is sales prospecting. So that means, funneling and, taking out whom to contact, where to spend time, how much time to be spent with that particular customer. The funneling exercise is the biggest challenge in general. Also, I have seen it is nothing to do with B2B, because close to 4 decades I have spent, and most of the time it has been in the sales. We spend wrong time with the customers. Maybe a right customer, we are spending a wrong time. There could be a wrong customer, we are spending a lot of time with the customer. Whether it is in an exhibition, or whether it is when a customer visits your premises, or when you are visiting a customer, all this happens. So the research says that 40% of the problems and the challenge is how you can do a sales prospecting. So that's the fundamental area where the B2B process needs to get. And honestly, there is no strategy, or there is no, written down saying that this is the right method, or this is the best approach which you can, resolve. The only way is, more of your gut feeling, more of your intuition, more of your experience, or the more you are going to have a team discussions that how I can do the funneling exercise. So that's where, practically I have seen that, you will be able to improve your prospecting, and that whom and where you have to spend the right time. So this is the challenge, and the problem, how you can address the problem. Coming back to the media, yes, today the digital media is very, very popular. Number one, the reason being is it's the belief is there when you watch a video. Like for example, Hailstone has machines across India and across globe, running in different conditions, different atmospheres, different situations for different material. So I cannot take my customer everywhere. Somebody asks for a quartz, how a stone crusher is working in quartz, how it is working for a dolomite, or how it's working for a feldspar. It will be very difficult, because I would have supplied two machines in Bhutan, I would have supplied two machines in Africa, or I would have supplied for gold in some country, but I cannot take my customer there. But the video is going to help me a lot. The live video, or the video, working video, what is available. I can show them that how the product is working, how the entire plant has been set up. So this is one. And second is augmented reality, AR. This also helps. Like I have seen in my another company, Revati Equipment, the oil drilling in Antarctica, or in Arctic region, or in different region, how the the drill rigs are going to operate. I myself have virtually seen the augmented reality, how it works. So coming to the first point is the digital media. I think that's where we need to work on for the B2B and B2C marketing and promotion activities. And second could be, still the magazines have not lost the charm, because when you are flying, when you are traveling, when you are on the road, the magazines still has its, maybe the pages have come down. Earlier it used to be 70 pages, 90 pages, 100 pages. Now it has hived down to half. But again, that's going to be always in your hand. Videos or something, either you need to remember or you need to take a photograph. Today, the culture is, whether it is a food or whether it is a social, the first thing is, take a photograph, and then only you have it. Even in a magazine or something, when you see something, you quickly take a photograph. So that's the second, I would say, the media. And third is the social media is very popular in terms of influencing, in terms of taking decisions. So in my opinion, very simple, there is no tailor-made solutions for the challenges. But what is practically achievable is, if you have a team meeting, if you understand these situations, and if the team shares and finds out that, okay, the funneling, because that's where the biggest problem, the 40% the research says, so you can address it. And I have told about the three medias which will help to promote. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. Love this response. And thank you for that heartwarming endorsement of magazines. That gives us a lot of hope. Um, uh, just to add quickly to that we feel now that from a magazine point of view, that wherever we have a captive audience, like on an airplane where, you don't have recourse to a lot of things like the internet, for example, that's where magazines work the best. Because that's where you find most of the magazines nowadays. But otherwise, people are not used to reading content nowadays. But that was a great inspiring message from you, saying that magazines still work, especially when you can share those images and articles on your social media platform. That really works well. Thanks so much for that response.
Yeah, coming back to the slim magazines, I think airlines want to even reduce the weight, the overall weight inside the aircraft, so that they can save something on the fuel. That's where the magazines are becoming thinner and thinner.
Wow. Okay. So that last bastion of captive audience that magazine had is also going. No, absolutely, no, absolutely. And magazines actually are coming back in fashion, as you rightly said. Very quickly, from our perspective, from the magazine, is that it provides a structure. It provides a structure to content, that that this is a feature, this is a section, where to go. On internet, it's all over the place, it's haphazard. But magazines give structure to information. That is the biggest thing that supports this industry.
No, but
Great.
today educational institutions, Anand, are getting into magazines. They are promoting magazines. I have seen
Okay.
in my daughter's colleges, and the periodicals, and whatever possible. Okay, digital is one part, But other than that, the
Okay. This is why magazines are important. Mr. Muthusekar, are you there? If
magazines are, they are
yeah,
trying to keep it alive.
thanks so much. Thanks so much, sir. That's really encouraging, especially not only for me but for Dinesh and Preeti as well, from our team who are listening in. You've just made their day even better. Thanks so much, Yogesh. Your views on the top three marketing strategy methods? Sorry, top three marketing methods and the challenges associated.
Look, I mean, the business gurus like Kavish, Srini, Muthu have already spoken about it. But I'll give you some of those anecdotes from my practical experience. Okay. One, in a B2B segment, anything which you want to buy or sell, the processes are very complex. Okay. And to address those complex procedures, you need to develop some, and as a strategy, need to develop the content to it, resources associated with that, because the decision making stakeholders are at various levels, right from your strategic entry to a particular customer, to the to getting that particular check out of your business element. That requires to be defined, that requires to be funnelized, and that requires to be channelized. And the focus, usually people keep it only on the decision making formulations or decision making chair, whereas in my personal view, yes, the respect to the decision making chair is required. However, the background to the decision making chair needs to be addressed very well on time rather before the time, so that your product gets to that table and you get that stamping, yes, you can deliver it on time and etc. For that, usually the current process is focusing on the digital transformation, whether the digital transformation is in your communication, digital transformation in your manufacturing, in your showcasing, whether for that you use any channel like your sites, your digital displays, your showcasing your product in a digital manner. Those can be used. However, the most important component out of it is value addition or value creation. So when you take my product, what are the value that you add to that overall segment? For that, for example, Muthu sir spoke about the drill, drilling, oil drill. By taking that, what's the value added to the OEM, whether it's in a quick in a time, more produce than in a less time, less number of people to manage and maintain it, maintenance of it, proactive maintenance of that component. All those things need to be conveyed in a way that it hits the bullseye. Otherwise, it doesn't work. No matter how many conversation cycles or how many budgetary back and fro communication it goes through. Because, and for that, initially when I spoke about understanding the goal and understanding the strategy, matching them with a B2B cycle is very, very important and vital.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Yogesh. Uh, Now we are getting questions from the audience, and I've already included one in the last question. Mr. Raman from LinkedIn, he asked about the same thing about the challenges and what are the top marketing methods and strategies that B2B manufacturers use. And you gentlemen have already answered that. Now I'd like to wrap up with a final question that a lot of audience members are asking, and I also wanted to. And this was actually the premise, the foundation of today's topic was India's global competitiveness. The manufacturers that we have in India are finding themselves going higher up the global value chain, not only due to the fact that the world is more globalized now compared to before, but also due to geopolitical reasons, which is becoming a greater factor in business and economic decisions in recent years. Now, my question, gentlemen, is that when, and you, all of you work with international customers and you yourselves have international operations, what do Indian manufacturers, do they have to tweak, fine tune, or change their strategy if they want to become globally competitive and be recognized as being among the global players? And if they have to, what are the ways in which they can make themselves more globally relevant from a marketing point of view? Sini, over to you.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Anand. Today, yeah, the more globalization is happening in every industry, and that is everybody's wish to, to become an exporter also from wherever they are. So the biggest reason why, before I answer the question, I'll ask a question like, why people from the other country like the US or Europe or other parts of the world should come and buy from a company in India? We should just understand the motivation for them positively. Why will they come here if at all? Why, when these products are available, unless otherwise there is something very unique about it. But it is not so most of the cases. So the main reason you find is like there are reasons like the cost, quality, delivery, or the kind of options they get. These are all the top few or top reasons why people come to India to buy from you, buy from us, buy from here. And we'll have to just give a very convincing answer to them that we are capable of doing that consistently. And we'll have to establish the trust with them. So the most important thing for us to do that, to make them believe, because our customers, to tell you, are either 8,000 kilometers from here or 16,000 kilometers from here. Either they are in the Europe or in the US. Most of or all my customers are there. The most important challenge for us, or the most important thing which is working for us, is to build a trust with them, that we give them access to all their, whenever their production is happening, we give access to them virtually to watch the quality parameters, the consistency with which we do, or the program management, to the PLM tools. We provide them a live status update. It is just not a manipulated update or somebody providing them from an Excel sheet presenting to their teams. All those things are gone now. The trust has gone to the next level. Like, you'll have to share how your kitchen is with the people there. That is what is the expectation. So when you do that, again, you use the digital media effectively to tell them that you have these capabilities with you. So then again, I'll come to a point of the video in your website about how your kitchen or your manufacturing looks like, what kind of technology you use. Today, people also ask you, the first time when you talk to them, what kind of machineries do you use? What kind of digital tools do you use? I mean, we go to the extent of, I shared with you other time, 1 year back, about the digital twin technology, what we use. All that is a must today. It is a necessity today in business to convince our customers all over the world. And that is what the reason why people are coming to us is they have some problem on quality, delivery, cost, or on developmental lead speed. So that is why they are coming to us. So somebody has made a mistake in the other part of the world, which we should not repeat. And we should ensure that we are way ahead in that game. And then we'll also need to explain why. Is it because of the human resource skill potential available in India today? Or is it because of the technology options available in India today? Or the transparency, most importantly, the transparency, what as a value we provide to the customer and sharing with them live. So this is the biggest, I say like more than the challenge, biggest opportunity in front of us, because today we are very well connected in terms of technology with all over the world, and use the digital media kind of for the branding of that as much as possible, but do that consistently and ensure that we have transparency and make them to believe that. And when they come here physically also, they can always be convinced that what they when they see here is what they heard from you or what they saw in the video. So that's what most important challenge, and that's using the digital solutions. We should be able to do that using. I already told you, like the AR, VR, the digital studios, those are all some of the tools what we use extensively, and that is the solution for us, available to be a global player in anything and everything we do.
Thanks so much, Srini. In fact, I must share with you and the gentleman as well that it was your Srini, you're talking about digital twins way back 2 3 years ago at the during the peak of the pandemic, because that had become a very prominent way for you to not only work with your alliance partners from the world, but also working with your suppliers and other people. So it had become, and thanks for that information, it has become a lot more popular now in the last 2 years. A lot of that credit goes to you, Srini. Muthu sir, the question is the global relevance, how Indian manufacturers can use the existing marketing platforms to become more globally relevant.
Anant, before answering this question, I will give a proven example of China, because most of the time we always compare China, and it's necessary to compare, but that doesn't mean that we need to replicate that. But we need to understand how is their success. That's the reason I'm trying to bring the China story. After the success of manufacturing, China as a manufacturing, Europe and US went and invested and, did a lot of manufacturing for the global requirements. China very selectively did one great thing, was started acquiring brands. And the government also supported them in acquiring the brands. What is the advantage of acquiring the brands? I'm talking of a global brand. Once the manufacturing success, what they did was acquiring the brands. Why the government supported is piggyback riding on the branding. That's the advantage the China got, and that helped them to get more global footprint. So if you look at India, okay, we moved from an agriculture economy directly to the IT engineering services economy, and in between the manufacturing was missed. Okay, now we are trying to make it up through Make in India. So that's where there was a gap in the manufacturing, and we could not take the. Okay, there are some success stories like motorcycles. Motorcycles, we are one of the largest and the world renowned motorcycles are produced in India, and a lot of export takes place. IT engineering services, we are very renowned. Even in whiskey, we are not a country of whiskey, but there we have the world best whiskey, the world third largest drinking whiskey. All that is there. Why I want to name all these different areas is that yes, India has bits and parts of success stories here and there. But what is important is you need to do a brand building. If somebody from Europe or US, either they visit India or they want to do a shopping, in the bucket list they should have that. Okay, this product I will buy from India. This brand I will buy from India. So like IT has so many brands, and IT has established. I have seen with my own eyes. I have heard, experienced. Whichever country I have traveled, the immigration person himself will tell that your IT system is working in our country. Our parliament is running through our IT system. So this is very nice to hear. But I'm coming to the products. When Europe should say, I will buy this cycle, I will buy this electronic product from India. That should happen. That's where the India's Make in India will reach the globalization, and we will reach the real like what China is reached today. For that, three things are required. Number one, either you have to build your brand, or you have to acquire a brand, or you have to associate and cooperate with the brand. I think these are the three things which will help. And again, the whole subject of our topic is branding. So that's what I need to relate this branding also part and parcel of the discussions. Hope I have that point.
Great points. Thanks so much, Muthu sir. Yogesh, your thoughts?
Well, I'll just pick up a couple of anecdotes out of it. One is our customer-centric approach, which has worked so far in a very, very positive way. Typically, I'm talking about the workforce which is in India, whether it's manufacturing workforce or whether it's ITES services, and everybody has experienced that. For ITES, I think we have very well known brands in India, and they have been recognized globally. For parts, typically manufacturing, we talk about, what we need to do is, making sure our quality parameters and assurance standards are up to the mark. I'm not saying those are not there, but there is always a thought process which was penetrated on us, that is called chalta hai, and that needs to be washed off, with a Ganga Jal. There is no other word which can help us purify ourselves by doing that. And then one of our great prime minister who said "Chalta hai nahi chalega," so many years ago, but it is still, we are still called as the people from Jugadu country. Okay, and I don't feel proud of it, but sometimes we do tend to go towards that thought process, that if it works, it works well. However, if it doesn't meet the quality standards, the approach of our making a product doesn't work in that fashion, please don't do it. Okay, that's the well principalized approach that we all need to have it. Second, of course, we all need to be very, very cognizant and conscious about the environmental and social responsibilities. I think world is recognizing us for our the responsibility that we have taken. The words which our current Prime Minister pronounces from Red Fort, and his commitments to the global about environmental controls, etc. Definitely, we all need to be putting our own, a small piece of stone in that bridge, like an animal, while building that complete bridge from this country to the globe. And of course, we all are IT savvy people. Our digital way of doing it definitely helps getting the product more accurately and faster than other countries. And I'll tell you one of the boiler stories. This the furnace, right? Furnace. When a Swedish company makes a furnace, no offense to the country, but they take about 120 hours, whereas a company in Pune, same furnace with the same quality standards, makes it in 68 hours. And I just can't take the names of the company, but we all know who makes and manufactures that. Along with that, these case studies, these are winnable portions that we have, that needs to be evaluated very well and put up like a business case up there. And then there are a lot of companies like textile organizations, the Rolls-Royce parts which get manufactured, and the companies that Muthu sir is involved in it. These need to be taken up towards a global standards.
Wow, all great
Thank you.
points, Yogesh. All great points. And thank you for bringing up the chalta hai thing, the jugaad hai thing. Every time I hear that, and I get so concerned about the way we operate, the way we are known in the world. I mean, and there are academics and there are people who have written books around jugaad being one of the great things to be happening. People have given it a name called frugal engineering to make it sound so more respectable. Now, who would, if you're working on mission critical equipment, which I feel every equipment is mission critical, but let's say for space, when would you want to send astronauts into space in a rocket made by frugal engineering and jugaad technology? No, you won't. You won't risk the lives of. So why would you associate your name, your brand name, with something like jugaad and frugal engineering?
Correct.
It's a great point, Yogesh. I think if our magazine survives and does well, thanks to what Muthu sir says is true, then we would like to. This is the next topic on which I'm going to reach out to you about jugaad and frugal engineering.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, as many audience are from and then we started with the Kerala story, right? There is a farmer in Kerala which used to climb the coconut trees with his bare hand and bare feet. Okay. One day, one IIT fellow reached out to him that I'm making an equipment which will help you climb the rope, climb the tree faster. But the he asked only two questions in the local language. One, is it faster? And does it provide safety to me? Okay. So, and then he said no, but it will provide you quick access to the coconut. What the farmer said is, once I'm up there, I can reach to every coconut. I don't need any equipment which can help me fetch it. If there is anything that you have a real concern, and this IIT Goa I'm talking about, they reached out to. So the if I reach faster, that means I can climb more trees. If it is making a secure, that means it is saving my life. So that's where I started. The goal of a audience need to be understood well before defining the product strategy. Okay, invest your money in your thought process by keeping these elements on the on while or just before making your product, even before skeletonizing your product.
That's such an important point you gave, such an important. And the example you gave about the coconut tree, it also reminds me of some competition that happened among engineering students about innovation. And people came up with ideas like fixing motor into cycle rickshaw and bullock carts to somehow make them run faster. And I was like, what would that achieve? I mean, it will just make the life of that bullock cart or cycle rickshaw puller even more miserable. Can you not come up with innovation that gives him some respectable occupation and removes that misery from his life? So that setting of goal first and then going about implementing it is so important. Thanks so much for bringing that up, Yogesh. Kavi, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a great discussion. Yeah, so I think a lot of stuff has been put in with a different perspective. So I really enjoy this discussion. So what I see when we say the basic question, local to global, so all has done. So Jugad, I have some different perspective, Anand. So Jugad not in terms of quality, but in terms of the speed of the job. Yeah, I think there are two aspects as you mentioned about the book. It's a very good book to read. Where you can find how that quick solution has helped business to grow, not at the cost of safety and quality. So what I see, there are two aspects when I see when we want to go local to global, based on my experience. One is a scalability, second is a integrity. So scalability in the sense you want to go global, but whether you have that capability to scale you further, where you can able to meet the expectations of all global customer. That is one. When we say integrity, it's relevant to the first point in terms of commitment. Do you value your words when you speak? Because there are many stories around it where people wanted to go global but not having enough stuff in place. Because until unless you have that basic infra in place, you can't go beyond. I say these are the basics two steps. If all I typically call as a starter when they wanted to explore this, the market, they can keep it in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Kavi. I completely agree with your point that if it is saving time and getting things done in a faster way with retaining the quality of the product, absolutely, this should be the right way to go. Great. There was a great discussion as you must have experienced, and I know this is the busiest, one of the two busiest times of the year for manufacturers. One is the end of the financial year, and one is the festive season. And you gentlemen have given your time knowing
And
and
Anand, this
expect
is the day one after vacation, yeah.
day one, and you've
I
just
think
had a,
for most of us, yeah.
for
Day
most
one
of
after
you,
vacation.
and 11 o'clock you've given the thick of your time, that is in the thick of your action time,
Thank you.
just so that you can make a difference in the lives of our readers and our viewers and the overall manufacturing community. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I cannot thank you enough for your time and insights and these points that you gave to this. And I promise you that we will not stop at discussing about marketing and strategy, about manufacturers, and we'll meet again. We'll talk again. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for giving your valuable time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
a lot.
Anand. And also with
Okay.
this, I just want to take the last line that special thanks to India cricket team. They gave last 1.5 month a very positive, played very positive cricket. Win or lose is a completely different story. Of course, we all play to win, but whatever they have achieved, like 10 out of 10, and just wanted to convey from all of us here that keep up that good job, keep up playing well, and don't don't put your head down. Keep your head up, chest front, and with a smile face the next match.
And Yogesh, this is a great story that how to perform under pressure. Yeah, I think great things to learn from that way. Yeah, thanks.
And that's why I referred to the Australian match story initially when I was referring to that's AMD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Thanks.
was a great story. That was a great story. Excellent. Muthu sir, you want to say something?
The companies should treat their people as their brand ambassadors. I think that's where half of the branding exercise is done.
Wow. Okay. These are all
Absolutely.
excellent words and thoughts to wrap up this amazing discussion. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Have a great day ahead. Catch up with you soon.
Yeah. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.